Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another stadium game. We're on Moira this time. And this is a difference between one team that has exceptional healing and one team that has exceptional damage. Can you guess which team I'm on? It might surprise you. Okay, realistically it's not going to surprise you, right? So on our team, we've got a Winston, a Tracer, Ashe, Moira, and Juno. And we're up against a Rein, Sojourn, Genji, Lucio, and Brig. That should tell you enough that you need to know about which team is healing and which is damage. Okay, looking at the lineups here, because there's a Lucio, that's one really big reason to want to go for an orb build. Chain Grasp is very useful against Lucio, but so are orbs with liquid nitrogen. When you combine that with the double barriers from Brig and Rein, I think it just makes sense to go for an orb build. Phantasm, we want it because of the Genji. And potentially if the Lucio is going to be aggressive and the Brig as well. But I just don't think it's such a good idea in this first round because we've got a Juno. So if maybe we had a Brig, I would pick Phantasm because I know I can use the Phantasm orbs a lot more offensively than just rocking with cross orbal. But in this case, when we've got like a Winston, a Tracer, they're not going to hang around for any Phantasm heal orbs, so I think cross orbal is just going to be the safer choice. It tends to get you richer as well. And because of the new format of Stadium, it's not that new now, but where you get your powers in round 1 and 2, your first round power may as well be entirely about cash generation. There's also the map that we can take into account. It's quite an open map. How much value are we really going to get out of Phantasm here? Probably not a lot. Different map, we might go for it. So, either way, going to fire our orb down the middle. Didn't focus on bouncing the heal orb in a different direction, but I'm not going to stay around there with the Brig. Got to make sure that we look out for any potential Rein pin after we've used our fade. Winston's already gone forward. Let's try and get the heal orb over there, but we're going to still fire the damage orb because yeah, we want to deal damage. Okay, Winston, a bit of pressure over onto him. Good jump away. Because we're focused on both just hanging around and supporting our tank, but not over-committing too far forward. Winston goes in. We want to be able to support them. That burn fire strike, by the way, is incredibly annoying. Enemy team take the point, but we are getting the kills here. Tracer gets a kill over onto the Genji. Briggs here as well. Supports us to make sure that she gets eliminated. And we're just going to be able to take this point straight back again. Can push a bit forward here. I know that I've got natural cover, which I can run around. Remember, Moira's fade is quite a short cooldown. You generally only need to buy yourself like 2 to 3 seconds. And normally you can do that with your heal orb. That fade was interrupted by the Lucio, which is a bit scary, but Rein didn't push forward from that one. Now again, synergizing with this Tracer just to put pressure on them. Tracer's going to have to recall. We don't necessarily need to back off right away. We'll try and bait the railgun, which we do with a jump bait. Very useful trick against Sojourns, by the way, is that once they fired for a little while, you can see like a blue glow on their weapon. Or if you think that they're nearly going to be charged just from feel, if you do a jump, it puts you on a predictable arc where the Sojourn will go for the railgun shot. And then what you do is when you're nearly at the top of that arc, you fade. And what happens is they end up wasting the railgun shot on air. Tried to coalescence there to save the Ashe there, but now a Brig rally's coming as well. They did use quite a few ults here, so I think they're probably just going to get back the point. Juno's trying her best just to fight and monkey. Probably smartly decides then not to go in and contest the point right away. They've got a little bit of support over there, but I think, yeah, it's not going to work out too much. Which way is the Winston going to go here? We heard Genji footsteps, so unfortunately we can't fire the heal orb towards the monkey here. We are putting a lot of pressure on the Genji Tracer again. No, this time it's us who gets the kill, but yeah, they're helping us out. Let's go over and support our tank again. Lucio's not on the way. We don't need to overheal the Winston, but just providing some healing, like a little heal over time, maybe the cross orbal orb as well, really, really helps them out. But yeah, if you notice, we're not like permanently following the tank. We're just trying to make sure that we're always somewhere nearish by. Oh, they do get shattered though. Probably should have finished off the Sojourn there, but you know, instinctively I'm just like, maybe I could save the Winston somehow. Because now the Brig is, yeah, about to die on the point. Sojourn not going to be able to do anything. Can we get a kill? Oh, the Lucio is there though. Torn between clearing the Lucio off and just zoning out the Sojourn. We decide to go for the Lucio because we've got kind of reliable damage. And not all of our team does, so Moira's very good against Lucio there. We do take the round, 11 eliminations, 2 deaths, we get MVP and a nice chunk of change, 15k. Enemy Brig on 14k, I mean, they're going for the pack build. Round 1 isn't really the problem. It's kind of round 2, mostly round 3, that the pack build really starts to put out insane heal numbers. Now, one of the good things about playing Moira is that we can get Cyber Venom. It helps a little bit. Not as much as I'd like. Now, the decision. Phantasm is, as I explained at the start, what I actually want here, but Chain Grasp is just going to mean more damage output. It will mean more cash. At the same time, though, if they've got really good healing, that also means I feed more damage onto the enemy team, which means they generate more cash. And we're kind of scared of the Brig pack build because, yeah, I mean, once they get really rich, it becomes insane. So we're focused entirely on an ore build here. We didn't opt to rush for Cyber Venom. I kind of want to get more ability power on this map. It is going to mean more cash generation, but it's a bit risky because, yeah, no Cyber Venom. Maybe the combination of Brig Lucio just out heals a lot of our team's damage. We do have an Ashe, which helps, and obviously we've got Moira's damage output, but in general, Winston and Tracer are quite low damage. Winston is low damage, but Tracer puts out this like burst, so their numbers aren't high. They do get eliminations, which is kind of crucial for us, but the actual sustained damage output of a Tracer is actually quite low, as our Juno does get taken down. The Genji being a little bit annoying. We do have Phantasm Orb, but we're going to use the heal one here. That's going to give us a nice little area to play around. However, there is a Lucio on us. Sojourn was also briefly shooting us. We're going to have to fade again. Lag spike. Oh yeah, I forgot. We lag in this game. So our Ind, which is at the top right, occasionally spikes up to like 70 to 90 or something, and we get these awkward lag spikes, and it was really, really frustrating, but it is what it is. Sometimes you got to play with some lag. I haven't had that in other games, so it's either something to do with my connection computer, maybe needed a restart. After all the hard work editing these videos, I hope you appreciate it, in which case hit the like button, because it really helps me out. Very kind of you guys to do so. Anyway, focused in over onto this mid point. It's still just that first mid fight. No team has managed to cap it yet. Ryan's gonna try and pin us, but I'm Moira, like, go away. Okay, but the Brig's coming down. That's a slight problem. Whipping us about a bit. Bob is somewhere around the point, but Lucio beat comes in, and that's going to basically make them immune to that. As the Winston jumps away, Ryan opting to follow. Can the Juno keep the Winston alive here? It's going to be key. They're not getting any time on the point, though. That's huge. I mean, they could have nearly capped it out and would just be forcing us through, like, rapidly. But we've got some time to play with. Unfortunately, our Ashe does get pinned by the Ryan. We're trying to stay behind that wall to make sure that we don't immediately get shattered. Ooh. Lucio escapes through the window. Heal orb over onto the Winston. We're going to have a Phantasm Orb here, which we can drop off, but we might be able to get a railgun out of them. Another boot just puts us in such an awful position. It's so frustrating when something displaces you just as you're about to fade, because you lose all the kind of ground control, which is then amplified by the fade movement. Which normally, you know, is a good thing if you're not booped, because that's why we can do things like fade jumps, but not so good when it works against you. Okay, we try and bait the shield bashes as well with fade. That way it leaves behind a nice little orb present for the Brig. She takes a bit of damage, we get a skill out of them, and then we also get to fade away to safety. We are getting a little bit of time on this point. Genji's a bit low. Phantasm Orb there. We got a little bit trapped. Luckily, the Ryan didn't go for a pin on us, instead opting to go for that. The pin in the room does get taken down. Juno's over onto the point. There's a rally there, so we want to try and support our team, but not overcommit to it. Can we drop off an orb? It's for the Genji, but Brig still connects the stun, pushing us. The whip shot actually saves us a little bit there. Just pushes us a bit further away. She comes in for another shield bash. we're going to make sure that we run away from the Genji ult. Luckily, they're chasing around the Juno. Great movement from them as well. The question is, can we do anything about this now that our Winston's been shattered and eliminated? Genji's onto us as well. We do get whipped by the Brig, with the Genji finishing us off. The question is, can they buy the time? We've got Coalescence. Juno's not able to really touch the point from up there, but they're probably going to have to go down and go for it. If not, we'll get there with Coalescence. We've got to be careful of the pin, the shield bash, but the Brig gets taken down. I think somebody else hit her just at the same time. Ryan gets eliminated. Over onto the Genji. Orbs bouncing around up there. Does manage to get the kill. And the Sojourn's not going to be able to solo push in here. We should be able to secure this point, and then we'll be back onto the mid fight. Indeed, we do secure it. So looking at the cash, the total cash that is, enemy team, I mean, it's basically neck and neck here. 90,000, 91k for the enemy team. We're on 92, like nearly 93 here. So, I mean, it's so far proving to be a very close game, but we'll have to have a look at the stats afterwards and you'll see what I mean by the difference between healing and damage here. We're clearly putting out crazy amounts of damage. Juno as well, not putting out huge amounts of heals as Brig rallies coming in over onto the point. The Tracer accidentally body blocks for us. You hero. That bash was not meant for the Tracer at all. Like, yeah, that's ideal. As Winston's causing a lot of problems at the back. We do manage to kill the Brig with the orb. Lucio's there. Phantasmal for the Ryan, who looks like they're trying to come in and pin us. We double back around. Lucio gets taken out as well. Ryan, has he got another shatter? I don't think so. Genji now on the point, desperately trying to deflect, but is going to get eliminated. Winston takes the credit for that kill, and I mean, we've got players on the point. We want to go forward for cash generation, but also potentially to get eliminations from somebody who could push the point. Uh-oh. This is actually a problem. Ryan's going to get there on time with a Lucio as well. The Lucio's very weak, though. We do manage to, well, we don't get the credit, but do a little bit of extra damage onto them. Got Coalescence. It's risky with the shatter. We have Fade, but we're locked in the Coalescence animation, which means we can't use it. Fade that quickly. We were ready for it, but we just need literally half a second. If the Rhine doesn't shatter for half a second, we're perfectly safe there. I'm 100% expecting that shatter and will fade it in time. But we can't if we're locked out of it, which is so frustrating. Brig goes in for the bash. We've lost our tank as well. Juno ult is around. Maybe that'll keep somebody alive on the team, but we're trying to dodge the Rhine swings at the moment, who is chasing us. Got to listen out for the pins. Trying to chase down the low health Sojourn, but lost her briefly for a second. Brig rally comes in, gets an elimination on us. Is our tank going to get back in time? It is a Winston, so there is a chance. Having a look, they're currently locked outside of the point. 3/4 of the cap is already completed. Is anyone getting into the point in time? They're not able to. Great zoning from the enemy Ryan there. Look at the Brig's healing. It's round 2 and you've got 22,000 healing. This pack build is so just words, right?
Up next, we're picking up speed with a payload race.
What gets worse in this particular team comp, right, is that Lucio scales. The amount of heals that Lucio puts out late game is huge. But Lucio's always suffered in that early game. And I would have no issue if Brig did the opposite and had really strong healing at the start of the game, but then kind of started to fall off late game. But no, with Brig, it just gets worse and worse. Like with this build, it feels like she just gets, yeah, the healing becomes insane. So 100%, I didn't look what we bought then, but it's going to be Cyber Venom after seeing that number, right? I wouldn't even care if I'm on, yeah, there we go. So I wouldn't even care if I'm on a Chain Grasp only build here. Cyber Venom would be getting picked. We also go for Liquid Nitrogen. We want to try and lock up their Brig, Rhine, Lucio, Genji. I mean, Liquid Nitrogen is going to have a great effect on pretty much everybody. The downside of it is our survivability is quite terrible. We've still got Stratosphere, which is good against the jumping around Genji and Lucio. But yeah, our actual health is not that good, and our damage output's not going to be that good. If we had Chain Grasp, it would probably be a bit better, but now we've got to rely a lot on some very weak orbs because we don't have that much ability power. But let's hope that the debuffs are enough to reduce Brig's healing as Lucio comes in really quick there. Are they on electrolytes? They better be. If I was a Lucio main, I'd be on electrolytes 100% the entire game. Think of the rollouts. Okay, Genji up top. The orb's going to be a bit painful for them there, so we don't need to wait around for that kill. We can go and try and support our Winston, who gets pinned. Stratosphere did hit the Rhine there, but it's not going to save anyone from a pin. There's they're burning the lava. We might not get away here. Oh, not with a Genji next to us. Maybe we get healed by Juno. We've got to avoid this pin somehow. Just about getting fade in time. I think the pin maybe would have missed anyway. Our healing's not that good for this here. No fade to jump bait that one, so the jump was actually terrible. And that was, yeah, my bad, because the only reason why we jump is because we thought maybe we'll have fade in time. But instead it just set up the shot and she fired at the exact time that Sojourn should fire. Right, enemy team with a slight lead here. We can't get to the heals on the Winston here. Okay, just about get around the corner. I think Juno actually had some heals covered. Maybe some lifesteal as well from the Winston. Ryan's close to us. We're not too fussed about it. We're getting our fade in a fraction of a second, so see if we can get some heals up over onto the Juno. Orb fire, that was kind of targeted both on the Lucio and the Ryan. Not sure if it really hit either of them, and obviously we heard that Ryan pin, so that's where we... Ooh. Yeah, why we use that. Let's go aggressively chase the Sojourn. They're very, very weak here. There's a Ryan next to us though, so we can't really commit to finish that off. Again, gonna have fade. We need to get on that slight high ground to jump up here. You see where the floor dips in? If you try and fade from down there, you don't make it onto the high ground, so we had to kind of use part of the fade to get onto the slightly elevated surface to jump up there.
Eyes open now.
And our team now in the lead with the objectives, but I mean, honestly, it doesn't make too much difference. Got to fade quite far back here and use the cover against the Sojourn. Winston putting some pressure. Oh, nice shot from the Sojourn. We need that cross orb or heal orb. We might be able to fade up top again. We opt to go through over to the objective where the rest of our team are, and the Brig can't push that, so I think it was a good decision. Beat, however, coming in. Monkey very low. We've got a Genji on us. We're going to Phantasm Orb away from that one. It is doing some damage. And remember, there's also that liquid nitrogen effect, which is certainly helping out our team, even if you can't really see it too much. Didn't know if the Rhine was shattering us there, so we just kind of blind faded it. We haven't got fade for this, or just about getting in time, but it was awkward because we weren't quite on the floor. Enemy team taking the lead now. This is an actual payload race. Tracer's at least getting a little bit of push time on there, but the Brig coming forward, it's going to be a bit frustrating. Where to bounce the orbs? We're waiting for the deflect to finish. That is going to get those debuffs onto the enemy team. We keep our Winston healthy. We're ready with fade for a shatter, but we're going to have to use it here. Now it's a bit painful if he's going to use it. Coalescence bait, making sure that we're staying close to the wall, that we can just strafe through. Brig comes through with an aggressive rally. That locks us out of coal, but to be honest, we didn't need that much of Coalescence. We'd got like the initial hit and everyone had kind of run away. Bob comes in. That's going to put pressure on the Brig. Eliminated. Can we salvage this one? Our team is moving the objective a lot. We flat bounce the orb here and we want to stay around here just to make sure the Rhine does not push this objective any further. Our team's in the lead, so as long as we keep blocking this one, it's up to the enemy team to go and contest our payload. And that's going to be very difficult without their tank here. Is anybody over there? Somebody is. But it's the Genji. They do get eliminated. Lucio needs to go for our payload. Somebody needs to go. I think Sojourn's gone for it, but again, we're just locked in on trying to keep the enemy payload from not moving. That then allows all of our team to focus on the players over on our objective, which they're not doing. Lucio beats come in. The advantage of having a Lucio speed. Oof. It just means that their players can get back from spawn so quickly, especially with Rhine charges. But no one was left to contest our objective. Enemy Brig up to 33,000 heals. But our team's certainly putting out some pretty strong damage numbers. It is time. We got to get the chain grasp. That's just going to be more damage. I feel like it's essential when we're against this matchup. So there comes a point when we just need as much damage as possible. Yeah, they're getting quite a lot of AP. Now, Sundering Vial is potentially an option, but it's like, how much overhealth are they really getting? So for now, maybe we've got a little bit of ability power. Do we want to get some of the more weapon-based items to start using Chain Grasp? Weapon Jam was a great one. Simply, it will reduce any attack speed that they've got. Normally, I'd go and check that. Maybe I've already had a look just to see how much attack speed they've actually got.
The arena is
The money's a bit
Our
awkward.
teams have 20 seconds left.
Yeah, it is a little bit awkward. We can't afford talent modification module and everything else. I mean, do we really want icy coolant? Like, no extra health, not particularly great. Like 5% cooldown reduction on its own, we don't really care about. Maybe Nano Cola is quite a good idea, but it means that we've got no ability lifesteal. So we're going to be relying purely on cross orbal and our regular grasp. Which honestly, it's not that bad, but I tend to like to have some. Okay, here we go. We're 2-1 up at the moment. Briggs on 48,000 cash as the Rhine went over the wall. Okay, I mean, I didn't hear that at all. I don't know if you guys did. We fade and then, yeah, stood still so there's no footsteps. Genji did try and push. We fired the orb there, anticipating that the Genji's going to jump over there. It didn't actually connect with anyone, so I mean, fine, whatever. We lost an orb. It's not like we paid for them by the orb. Okay, we're in a difficult position there. We nearly got our fade in time. But there's just a couple too many players on us. And at that moment, I also remember that I was thinking, you know what? The anti-sustain build, getting loads of cooldown reduction would really help in these scenarios. So maybe that's where we opt to go, like later on in this game. Or maybe not. So Winston gets taken down. We're going to fade not back towards our spawn, because that's where the enemy team are chasing. And so instead, by going this way, we can maybe isolate a couple of players. In fact, Sojourn is chasing us. Set up the trap here. We had to be kind of close to it. Standstill dodge with a fade bait as well. All these terms that we've just come up with. Okay, cheeky fade jump. Back onto the high ground. But the problem is we're a bit out of position. Brig is looking, so we're just going to fire an orb just to say hello. But we certainly can't commit to pushing straight through there. Now there's another little fade jump to get up on top. Rally does get used, but Winston's there. We can't coalescence it. We also can't jump down from here. Bit too late reacting for that, but we are going to get the Genji. Surely. Surely. Oh my god, the Genji escapes. Do they? Wow, okay. Great movement, or should I say great decision making from the Genji. Enemy team kind of walking away with the objective here. We've certainly got a lot to do. Stratosphere propped over onto the Lucio. Genji's still around here, but this time we do manage to eliminate that slippery one. Okay, our time to move the objective a bit. There is a Sojourn ult. It's funny how in Stadium, you're not that intimidated by Sojourn ults. You're like, okay, they're about to use one of these. But in regular ranked, you hear that Sojourn ult, it's like, run, dun, dun. Not so much in Stadium. I don't know if other heroes feel like that, but I obviously when I'm playing Moira, I'm just like, okay, well, they're using that ult then. Let me know in the comments, guys. I like playing AP Sojourn, by the way. It's nowhere near as good, but it's so much more fun. Right, Ryan flying again over onto the team. Does he have a shatter ready? Gotta watch out for the Sojourn outside of that ult though. Brig is here. Can we bait a shield bash? Not with that lag. Did you see that? Just as we were trying to do it, our ping spiked up. That's frustrating.
You can really tell who the playmakers are.
A moment of silence for my connection.
Coming up. Time to
Right,
face off.
2-2. At least we've got a game. Look at the cash. There's only like 400 cash in
It's
it.
time for the teams to consult their
215k
playbooks.
for both teams. I didn't feel like the chain grasp element did too much there. Remember how I mentioned that I was thinking about cooldown reduction? The second part is, am I really feeling liquid nitrogen at this point? Like maybe should I just get some more cooldown reduction? Extendrils, I don't actually buy that often, but maybe apply the debuffs a bit more, get some more value out of Phantasm. There's a lot of debate here. Could also sell Stratosphere at this point, but it does help with the Genji and the Lucio, and it's super cheap. So we can always look at it a bit later. Perfect endgame build. So normally you'll see on that menu I've got like that perfect mid-game, perfect early game. Generally the perfect mid-game is the orb focus, because the idea with this is that I would try to go more of an orb build, and then by the end game I'm making more use of Chain Grasp. But in this I'm thinking, okay, we'll just have a look at the actual end game here, and we opt to get a load of ability lifesteal, Nano Cola. We've got Lumerico for survival. I mean, this is tanky, right? This we don't have the cooldown reduction, but we're getting the armor from Lumerico, Vitality and Energized Bracers, and Phantasmic Flux are going to be giving us loads of lifesteal, ability lifesteal, which is also going to mean that we get the overhealth from Phantasmic Flux a lot easier. Every time we use an orb or ability, we restore that armor. We still have Cyber Venom. So we're going for this kind of tanky orb. Allows us to be really aggressive. Yeah, kind of build. So no slow, and hopefully that doesn't bite us here. Ever since they nerfed Liquid Nitrogen, it's a bit more frustrating, but we can certainly play a lot more in the enemy team's face. The question is, are we actually going to adapt to that style a bit more? Like, here's where the Brig, look at our health. The lifesteal helping out also with Lumerico there. And we're basically back in and ready to go again. Lucio putting some pressure on us. Phantasm Orb straight back up again. So we're good. We're good for the tankiness. The question is, have we still got the damage output here? Ryan eliminated Lucio. Chasing him down. He's gone around the corner. Throw the orb up there. Enemy team's over on the objective though, so we're going to fade just to make sure that they don't cap it. Not too happy about fading and then finding a Genji in front of us. The Sojourn felt okay, but luckily the Genji is as well. Drop the orb there for the Ryan, making sure we're near to a wall, ready to dodge shatter. We've nearly got our fade up though, so we're okay with this as the Ryan goes for an aerial pin. Didn't connect with anybody. Coalescence used. We've got our fade, so we can try and bait out either a rally or a shatter. Hey, there we go. Rally is used. They were going for the stun. Let's cover their health pack with an orb, but doesn't matter. The Brig gets taken down by our Ashe. We do manage to secure that point. The rotation over onto the Sojourn. Don't think they expected that one. Can't get the kill on them, but it does pressure them back a little bit. Gonna fade all the way back, and we see a low health Ashe. My god, we do some healing sometimes. Oh, there's footsteps. There's footsteps there, but there's so many of the team focused at the front. Gonna fade the pin there. Shatter comes in. I don't think it connected with anyone. Maybe a Winston bubble. And that annoying lava fire strike. Okay, we've got an orb over there near to the Mega. Lucio's putting pressure on our Juno. I can't do anything about that, but we're going to try and chase it round. Horrific orb bounce there. Like, massively misjudged the angle. Because again, Genji's going to be rotating around the backside. Lucio using beat here. Genji's on us as well. We should be able to survive this quite well. Quite well. Quite well. Okay, there's the tankiness. Fade away from the blade. We've got to keep on running, taking sharp angles, like as we're running around the corner, just to maximize our movement in case we're being chased. Just being efficient. Coalescence comes in. Now Ryan's very low. That's the shatter threat gone. Brig's also gone. There's no more stuns that can get us out of this coalescence as we chase down the the Sojourn. I'm forgetting how to talk, guys. Anyway, just wanted to make sure she didn't get back to the point. We are going to take round 3. 0 deaths that round. And it felt good. The tankiness really starting to pay off. 48,000 healing from the Brig. That's more than everybody on our team combined.
Coming up next,
by a lot.
it's time for Clash.
There is one downside for teams running that Brig pack build. And that's that the enemy Lucio might be a bit broke because Brig is doing too much of the healing. I generally think that if you're playing Brig on your team with a pack build, you need to have a almost full DPS support. I think Brig Zen works quite well. Brig with DPS Ana works quite well. Probably the most popular and best pick to work with a Brig right now is Wu Yang. Because Wu Yang can go for... It's like a damage-based build, but it does some minor passive healing. And also, I think it can, do some healing amplification, which just helps.
The arena is calling.
So, we're looking at our perfect endgame build here. We get Eye of the Spider as well, which is going to really help with our Chain Grasp. It worked so well in the last round that we might as well just get that. The cash works out. We can't afford the full endgame. We also go with Void Hoppers. We've got Super Flexor as well. So Void Hoppers is just generally about giving players overhealth. If they've got any debuffs, sure, we cleanse them. Honestly though, just every time we fade, and we fade quite often, that little spike of overhealth can allow our team to use their ability life or weapon life steal and actually get healing out of it while they're taking damage, because you know, the overhealth's going to disappear first. Sojourn with an aggressive flank up top. We didn't notice her until it was too late, but I mean, look at this. I mean, at that point, yeah. No, our healing isn't going to help us out there. We needed some extra cooldowns, maybe a gadget or something. So enemy team taking control of this midpoint. The Ryan's pushed out to choke here. We need to get some healing over onto the Ashe, but I didn't just want to fire that orb. I wanted to make sure if I could use the damage orb as well. Like actually waiting for a target there. She wasn't in any danger until we see a target. Enemy team though. Oh, we've got a player over onto the point, but I mean, we're going to have to back off here. The Ryan's just zoning everybody out of this choke point. Sojourn's here as well. It might look a little bit weird standing still there, but trust me, if a Sojourn is a good player or any rapid fire DPS, that kind of standstill for a little while, it relaxes their aim, and then a sudden movement again, you'll find they'll miss shots than just spamming your strafe buttons. Trust me, I've been doing it for a long time. Even though they got the hit then, it's still one of the better ways to move. Okay, our Winston getting very low does get taken down as well. Oh, two big ults, Sojourn ult and Brig Rally. We're going to have to fade away. We've got time though. Genji's here. We fire the damage orb to bounce against the wall, but crucially, the healing orb did not. It flew straight out the door, which is a little bit annoying, but luckily we've got ability lifesteal, Phantasm orb, and our regular orb over onto the Sojourn. She backed off into the orb, which was by design. You know, we put that there for this reason. Briggs there with the Lucio jumping around. We predicted the exit route, but they didn't go that way. And I am not going to go up there when there's a Lucio. We do not want to get booped off the map. Thank you very much. I think our Tracer... Oh, actually, maybe they just fell off of there. Nobody got shattered. Managed to avoid that one. The overhealth's going to be a bit annoying here. Let's flat bounce these orbs. We've got Phantasm Orb for the Rhine. He's going to have to shield away from that. I'm not sure why they used their jet skates there, but either way. Brig Rally, we're not scared unless she looks at us, but we are scared being next to this cliff face, so we're just going to dance around the pillar for a little bit. Make sure that we don't get booped off of the map. Looks like our team's going to secure this point. I mean, the score right now, 3-2. And now we're playing for the mid-fight. Win this fight, win the game. That burning lava again, it's so tilting because it feels like it does nothing, but it kind of doesn't do anything, but it's so, I don't know, just your mind goes, I don't want to stand in that molten core. And then if you ignore it, it does hurt, but oh, big kills. Tracer getting a kill over onto the Ryan. We've killed 4 of their players. They do have a Lucio who's just spawned with a Brig and a Ryan. They've got potential to touch here. We're going to go in with a Coalescence early, see who we can soften up, if we can discourage anybody from pushing. We've got a little lag spike there as our in spiked up. Dropping off all of the orbs at that choke point where players have to go through. Lucio fighting for his life there, but the Juno missiles tracks them all the way. And I mean, Sojourn's not going to be able to get into the point, which means we are going to take the victory. Look at those stats. Enemy Brig on 59,000 healing. We've got 40k damage. I mean, it's an interesting one. I've always preferred damage to healing, but it can be frustrating to play against. I think, by the way, our team in that match dealt about 150,000 damage, and they healed up about 60-something% of it, whereas the enemy team did 100,000 damage, and we healed up like 50% of it. It's a bit weird. Anyway, GG guys.